You're a midlife woman, and you might be waking up in the day with a million reasons why you don't want to get out of bed. And you're struggling, depleted, exhausted, fatigued, and honestly, maybe feeling at a loss for how you got to this space with all of the beautiful gifts you have in your life. Being so grateful and aware that you've been blessed with things from careers and jobs and great neighbors and friends to a wonderful partner, perhaps, maybe some children, and really feeling connected and so blessed and having so many things, and yet somehow something feels like it's missing. If this is you, then hi, my name is Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness, and I'm a transformational midlife revolution coach. And what I really do is help midlife women take off the layers of all the things that are covering them and help them explore and clarify what their values are, where they want to go with the rest of their life, what they want to do, and how they're going to make that happen. Sometimes along the journey, because we change so much as human beings, we can lose sight of what lane we're in. Like, where am I going? What am I doing? Right? And we sort of feel like we're on this journey with no map. And so part of my hope is to inspire and empower each woman that I work with to gain clarity in her life, and then give her the tools to stand from a place of empowerment, alignment, and fulfillment, to do her legacy, to leave it the way that she wants, to give herself permission to start again, and to maybe really be truthful with herself, to be brave and stand in moving herself in a direction that feels in much more greater alignment than the one that she's in, even though it's the one that she kind of landed in, right? For me, I was 40 and I was in a super successful psychotherapy practice and I was miserable. I'd worked my whole life to get that degree, to do all the hoops. Oh my God, so much red tape and all the hoops to land where I was certified, and then I got experience, and then I went and got my private practice open. It was so much work, and took so much passion and drive to make all that come together. So when I was 40, I thought something was wrong with me. I was like, what in the hell is wrong with me? House check, partner check, kid check, brilliant career, reputation check. What's wrong with me, right? This is kind of the reason that so many of us lean into this idea of midlife crisis. And it actually doesn't have to be one. We can make it a midlife awakening. We can approach the way that we have a relationship with midlife completely in a revolutionary mindset, which is that we're coming to fruition. We're actually coming to a space where it's time to kind of do over, where it's like time to reevaluate and redefine for ourselves where we want to go, what we want to do. It's a brilliant space. So I'm going to speak to today brave actions, but I'm going to talk today a little bit about the people who inspire us. Why is that? So at the time that this is landing, the first go around it's kind of, around Mother's Day. And I just wanted to make sure that you're standing in your truth, the bravery of standing in your truth, the bravery of standing and embodying who you really are and what you really stand for. And maybe it looks like a big shift and maybe people won't necessarily understand it to start, but it's not their job to understand it. It's yours. And sometimes it's about living into it, even if you don't fully understand it yet, but you're being called to do something. I have had pivotal moments in my life, literally. Some other daydreams I've had were out of even being a therapist, being a bed and breakfast owner, which I would love because I love cooking, baking, engaging with people, decoration, all that kind of thing. I love that kind of thing. I'm like, I would love to own a bed and breakfast. So much fun to me. I also thought about quitting what I was doing and going back to school to be a chef because I love cooking. And like, it's in my family's blood. My grandma and grandpa owned a restaurant, several actually, maybe 2 or 3. So it's like in our DNA, if you will. And so I had all of these different ideas, right? Now they didn't land fully like coaching did, because that landed fully and that's what I ended up leaning into. But I want to just talk about, right, where are we and like the truth of who we are. And those were all places and things that I loved and enjoy, but they weren't the right thing to lean into fully for me to embody it because it wasn't the full story. I knew I had more work that I wanted to do with people, and I just wasn't sure what form that was going to take when I was around 40. And then that finally all gelled together, right? So it took time and energy. This was not something that I woke up one day and the solution was there. It took time and it took conversation. And so I want you to think about, as you lean into this time, as we think about mothers and women, divine feminine, which I won't lean too heavy into today, but I want you to say that every single woman's a creator. And so I want you to really imagine that you are carrying creator energy, whether you've ever had a child or not, doesn't matter. You are a creator. And so having that womb in that space is an energy. And so you, as I, have been blessed with really powerful women. And what I want you to think about today is I want you to think about who has inspired you. To me, I think about defining the women who've lifted me up. And I can think of so many women. And one of my greatest resources for this is my mother. And my mom and I have a really interesting relational history. But aside from that, my mom was really brave about taking on a business. I watched my mom as a businesswoman. And so I know how smart she was, how very, very capable she was. I saw her navigate the ins and outs of challenges of dealing with multiple people and employees, things like that. There was a lot of complexity with what she did. She did that while taking care of my sister going through some really traumatic information and experiences in her life. There was all of these things flowing around my mom. And somehow my mom was that woman, and I know every single one of us knows this woman here who made it look easy. And the truth is there could be nothing further from that. That is such a fallacy for all of us, right? And so one of the things that I am a firm believer in and is really in shedding light in the transparency of what things are really like. That even the women who make it look easy doesn't make it easy. And I know the absolute balancing act it had to be for my mom to juggle all of those parts of her world. To be a mom to several people, to have stepchildren, her biological children, a husband, a business, and then really traumatic things going on in our family. So that was a lot. She was like the absolute juggler, the best juggler I knew, right? And I think that one of the things I want us to think about is not just my mother. I have been inspired by so many women who are, women who have just dealt with and sorted through, abusive relationships and marriages, had and lost children, couldn't have children, women who go out and do really challenging, complex work every single day and don't get paid nearly what they should for what they do. Women who've stood up for themselves and said, I'm not this, I'm this. Women who've said, hey, this thing doesn't work for me in terms of sexuality and my identity. I'm not heterosexual, I'm actually a lesbian. I've seen so many women do acts of bravery to me that are literally so profound. And I don't want us to get narrowed in on it, because I think what we can do is we can sort of steal our journey with it. And if you start really looking at the women that you know, there is so much bravery around us. There are so many beautiful, pivotal examples of how to stand in your value set, how to embody what you stand for. And to me, that's what I want you to really look for, is your truth. What is your truth? Can you bravely stand in the truth of who you are? So by looking at these women, what kinds of things come up for you that you would like to embody in terms of your own bravery? Where have you been brave? Where would you like to be brave? Sometimes that is going back to school. Sometimes it's creating a whole brand new career path. Sometimes it is making a small pit in your career, but then actively harnessing a hobby with depth so that it is lighting up your soul in a way that you know that was meant for you, right? It's so many things. To me, it's like taking new classes and learning new things. It's just being willing to try things that scare us every single day and doing them anyway. And to me, that when we look around and we go, okay, this woman's brave, this one, first of all, every woman's brave, let's just be really honest. But when you look around in your world and you harness, like, that woman does this woman did that woman stood up for herself this way and there. She was under the gun and she had to take care of this, and this. Look at the way that she dealt with all of that. To me, we have beautiful examples around us all the time. And so whether it's someone that we know, whether it's someone we've seen in a documentary, a woman that has come and gone before us, maybe it's Mother Teresa, right? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whoever it is, you get to pick the women that are really standing examples of how you want to stand in your power, how you want to harness who you are and what you are and the truth of that. And so it's about being a woman that no matter whether someone else gets it or not, we don't need them to get it. And I think that's a pivotal piece that midlife women are often able to lean into in a different way. When I was younger, I gave a shit what people thought. And as I've aged, I've come to a place, I'm like, if you don't get my journey, you don't get my journey, that's okay. Then this is not for you. It is not your journey, it's mine. That's standing in your truth. That's knowing your truth. And sometimes we have to do a little work to kind of get there. And I think that this is like defining that space. Defining, what are they doing? What are you doing? What are the actions that are bravery? Right? It's defining that for yourself. It's being able to identify it and readily see it. And then also act as if you have those same capacities, because you do. You have the same exact potential as the woman sitting next to you. It just is in a different realm. Thank God, we don't all want to be doing the same thing. So it's about really harnessing that and knowing that. And it's also honestly in the telling of the stories, which I just know is going to sound like some hella weirdness to somebody listening to this. But trust me when I say that there is something so beautiful about telling their story. Bravery looks like so many things, right? For me, at the end of my mom's life, her act of bravery was going through a process of going through treatment, even though she was okay to go. She did that for us. It wasn't about her. And so to me, when I think about that, I think about, how she leaned into something that was really terrifying, and she did it because she loved us so much. That was her act of bravery. She valued her family so much. She embodied moving through this really difficult process to try to capture as much time as she could for all of us. She didn't need it, but we did, right? I think bravery is knowing that a job doesn't fit you and quitting, finding a new path, even if it's not the right one to start because you just knew you needed a change. It's hacking all your hair off that you grew out for 5 or 10 years because you just knew you needed a change. It's about getting on a stage and trying to, have a comic routine, stand up in front of other people that you don't know from a hole in the wall and you don't know how you're going to do, but you do it anyway, right? Honestly, acts of bravery are sometimes having children. We don't know what the hell we're doing. There's no manual for this shit. There isn't even a full-on manual for owning your own business. There's so many things that we are winging it, right? Harnessing that and honestly sharing and telling the stories, because I feel like as we do that, it also reflects back to us the spaces that we have been brave. So to me, I want you to know also how brave you've been in your life. I want you to know it because when we're brave, when we see the acts of bravery, it reminds us we have it within us. We have this deep well of this contagious energy that tells us that we're capable of so much, and that we don't always have to have the full solution to lean in and do it anyway. And there is something otherworldly about women that are doing that. And you know who I'm talking about. You've met them, you've seen them, you've read their stories, you've watched them. And so to me, I am powerfully inspired all the time by the incredible women that I get to be surrounded by. Best friends, family members, women who have climbed huge ladders in corporate America that beat the odds for what they're getting paid and beat the odds for being in a female position to do so, right? Female athletes. Like I could sit and count for you. That fascinates me. And so to me, it's harnessing that incredible energy. And what do I feel when I look at that? How does that feel inside my body? Can I harness that kind of energy when I go out and do things for myself? Can I borrow from their wisdom? Can I borrow from their energy? This is a great reason I love goddess work, because goddesses are examples of living, breathing energy, right? That they live their lives in one way, shape, or form to be empowerment icons for us. And so you don't have to pray to them to look at them and borrow that kind of energy. So this is where I'm saying, even when I'm not sure if I have my own, I know women who are going to hold space for that for me. Someone's done it, even if it's not exactly the same way before me, somebody's done it. I'll tell you what, I survived grad school by like 1 million people have done this before me. 1 million people are going to do it after me. I can freaking do this, right? We're looking at other people for guidance and wisdom and harnessing our own truth to help us move through that space, because you have it within you to do that. So I just wanted this today to be a reminder, rather than it being a whole like this tool, it was about really honoring and witnessing feminine energy that you've been gifted with and really honing that in, and then recognizing that energy, embodying it, and using it for yourself. Giving yourself credit for the spaces that you've been brave in your life. So if you have a woman you'd be willing to share in the comments for me, I would love to hear who has rocked your world with her bravery. Please share it in the comments, because I have so many women. I have sisters. I've got so many people I would list my best friends. I would list so many women right now, and maybe I will tag them as well. Who do you know that's just kicking life in the ass? They have taken life by storm. They're doing what they want. They're standing in their power. Who are those women? Shout out to them, because we can really truly honor that divine feminine energy within each of us, and we can support each other by doing things like this, just really seeing at each other, right? So until next time, my friends, I just want to send you blessings, love, and light. This is Jen. Look, I would love for you to comment below today, rather than anything else. If you can comment below and let me know who's rocking it, I would love to just celebrate those women with you. Let's like lift and elevate everyone, help them to rise so that you can have a revolutionary midlife journey where you're living your legacy full of the power and light that only you can bring. Take care, guys.